as a busy CEO building your personal brand, what is your advice? What's the first thing that somebody needs to do?
Well, I like to break it down in 3 pillars. So the first pillar is you need to document. You need to get the content, right? So that's the camera that's having the podcast. You need to find a way to show what you're doing in behind the scenes, right? So how can you show what you're doing in the private? You know, I think that's one of the most powerful things that people can learn how to do. I read a book called Contagion or Contagious. It's a marketing book. And so he was saying, how can we show our customers and the people that we serve, how can we make a private pocket? So that's what it is. How can we document it? Because what that does is that allows to show in behind the scenes into you and how you solve problems. So that's the first part. The pillar is the documentation. And the next pillar is now you need to distribute that documentation. So the way we distribute that is we get that off the documentation, the long form content. And that's getting information about you and what you do and who you serve and who you are as a human being and how you're serving your audience, how you're serving your customers. Now we need to distribute that on where your audience is. So the first question I like to ask people is, you know, what's your mission? What's your vision? Where are you trying to go? How can we document that? Once we've documented that, how can we put that in front of, you know, your audience? So just like you see channel 10, channel 7, you know, that's social media right now. People are on their phones. So you got to figure out how can I be in front of their phones? And the way I could do that is in documenting podcasts, having media around me to show me and position me as an authority. Because people like what they can see. They like what they can trust. We're moving into a future that's founder-led, that's founder-driven, right? People come to Peppermint I.T because of how you are. So again, it's a reflection of you. So how can we get you in front of people at scale? So it's like digitizing your reputation in front of the world. So it's trust at scale. So those are the pillars: document, distribute. And now you're able to put that on the pillar pieces of content, YouTube, you know.
Yeah, I love that. Trust at scale. That's great. So the platforms then, what would you say about platforms? What are the best options to?
Yeah, well, it's a thing of constant evolution because things are always changing. Again, for me, I'm more obsessed is where my audience is. So I just get really obsessed, whether it's for a client or for myself, it's where are the people who I'm serving, where are they the most? Right. So for example, LinkedIn is a business platform. It's the number 1 business platform in the world. So if you're in the B2B marketplace, LinkedIn is powerful for you, right? The other platforms are great when it comes to B2C, you know, when it comes to showing a little bit about you, you know, you have the Instagram, Facebook is very powerful. So I would really focus on where my audience is, but we want to have that omnipresence. I want to be everywhere you go on the phone, I want you to see me.
Yeah.
So that's the obsession that we take it to, is everywhere you go on the phone, you can see me. So when it comes to platforms, I don't really like yes, you have the ones that you like, but I don't really focus too much on the platforms or get emotional about it. I just more focus on where's the end consumer and how can we be having our clients be in front of the end consumer every single day or consistently.
And what about if people want to do it themselves? I heard someone say the other day, it was one of our clients actually, he said something like, if something takes me more than half an hour to do, I'm going to get an expert to do it instead. And so, I mean, I guess I think, you know, I'm fairly techie. I've got phones and bits and pieces of things. So for somebody who thinks that they can do it themselves, what would be your advice?
I mean, I would even encourage someone to do it yourself, right? Try and see if you can document, see if you can put the camera there, right? And we've got to be fast. So yes, you know, you can do it yourself. But then a lot of the times, for example, a lot of our clients, they'd rather throw money at the problem than time for them, because you're in operations, right? Like you said, if this takes you too long to be able to do it. But I would still encourage someone to go ahead and attempt to it. There's no place to start now. Put the camera on, turn it on. Now when you know, because you're busy, you're a CEO, you get it. You get the obsession that you have. you don't really have time for it, that's when you now hire. That's when then now you put money, and invest into this. Again, you want to invest in your personal brand, right? It's important than ever. I'll give you a story. I went to go see another client that we just onboarded. And so we were reviewing the content that we did, documenting their story, strategy session. And people were calling his phone. And then as we were reviewing the content, he picked up, he told his assistant and he said, "This is my most important meeting today. Told the other ones I'll be back." And it hit me. I know that. But I was like, wow, that's powerful. He said, "This is the most important thing that I can do today." And a lot of CEOs, a lot of business entrepreneurs don't realize that this is the most important thing, right? Of course, you're passionate and you're dedicated and serving for your clients. Your clients are the ones that come first. But this is how not only you showing the people you're serving, but other people out there. This is your marketing. This is the most important function in your business. And people are not realizing that. You just said it. You searched on ChatGPT who I am. It told me exactly what came up.
Yeah, that's right. And that comes back to the being in the moment, part of playing soccer. I loved that story about, you are right there, right in the moment when you're playing sport, aren't you? Yeah, I think that too. I think a lot about sport and teamwork and how that affects us in business. And I think I hadn't really thought about it in a specific moment. I've always played netball. When I was a single mum and I was working full time, but netball was like the thing that I could do in the week where everything else disappeared, and I was just there in that moment for an hour, and I would forget about all of the problems of the world for that particular period of time. And I think it's good to have that, if you can get that focus about anything on a daily basis, it's good, it's hard.